There are so many mistakes that you can make when it comes to rental property. Don't let insurance be one of them. Watch as I sit down with Matt from Weber & Grinnell, and he gives us some tips on common mistakes you should avoid with insuring your rental property.
Two guys take on real estate.
Yeah, renter's insurance is key. So again, some people stipulate it in their lease. You've got to have renters, right? Because, again, the building's covered, but the person's stuff is not, right? And so that's key.
They don't seem to think that, though. Let me tell you.
I know.
But
Let me tell you.
Is it in Massachusetts? I don't think
It's going to vary by state, but I'm
enforceable to make them take renters?
Yeah, I'm under the impression that in Mass, on multifamily homes, you can't require it. On single-family homes, I believe that you can. And again, that's a great question for another team member, which is going to be a very specialized attorney.
Yeah.
And
they're cheap, man. Like that's the thing,
incredibly
they're wicked cheap.
I tell tenants all the time, listen, you can pick up a renter's insurance policy for roughly the cost of Netflix. Do you have Netflix?
Yeah.
Is that important to you? Yeah. Is the TV you watch it on important to you? Maybe pick up a renter's insurance.
What about buying it for your tenants? I mean, thinking it from that standpoint, if it's like $200,
you could.
It's cheap if you just add that and figure that into the rent.
Yeah. There'd be some act on their part to
100%,
to sign the applications and like take the policy into their possession. But if you're saying, hey, I'm going to pay for it, just sign this document, I don't see why not.
And
right?
unfortunately, theoretically, they could always cancel it and collect the money back out of it. I know, 100%. They don't renew it. If they lived with you 5 years, this is a 1-year policy. They don't renew it. You have to keep renewing it. Having them renew it and then paying for it for them or reimbursing them.
Yeah, I mean,
there's definitely ways to incentivize
cheap, though.
it.
It's so cheap. I mean, you can get a good renter's policy for a couple $100.
It's
especially if you have car insurance. They'll bundle it in, and it's really cheap. And it's important for them to have. I mean, covers their own liability if they do something, and it covers their stuff.
Like shutting the heat off and when they go on vacation in the middle of the winter.
So there's so many types of things, I'll tell you, that just we've seen renter's insurance would have probably helped out with.
For sure.
Which would be things like Matt said, going on vacation, for in the middle of winter for extended periods of time, and they shut their heat off to save a couple of bucks. And of course, burst all their pipes, damaged our property, damaged their own stuff. And not just that, they have neighbors. These are usually multi-family homes. So maybe they misused a toilet or the kitchen sink. We had somebody who was doing dishes, had a sink full of dishes, had the water running, got distracted, went to the other room for whatever reason, left the water running, was dealing with their kid, 2 rooms away, and this frat, they were doing the dishes, decided they were going to take the kid down the street to the corner store. Went down the street to the corner store, did whatever, got the kid an ice cream, I don't know, came back to the neighbors flipping out. We had the phones ringing off the hook. The water had overflowed so much and gone to the second floor, the floor below them so much, that the cabinets on the wall had actually fallen off. No. Electrical outlets that are, of course, in the wall. I mean, it's right above somebody else's kitchen.
Yeah.
So you got to figure, if you look at your kitchen sink, you've got outlets there, you've got appliances, you've got cabinets full of crap. And, I mean, water poured through everything. They caused thousands of dollars of damage. And I don't know, maybe that's something that their insurance policy would have picked up and covered instead of us having to rely on using ours,
Yeah, or at least it gives your insurance company somebody to subrogate to, meaning they can go get the money for the person that was actually negligent, which helps you with your loss ratio.
Think about it. That helps prevent some of our loss ratio, but also think about this. What if our deductible, for various reasons, was very high, and it sucks. People have car insurance. You've heard the idea that you have a high deductible. Somebody does $500 worth of damage to your car, but you got a $1,000 deductible, so you don't file a claim. You're screwed. So what if our deductible was $5,000? They caused $7,000 worth of damage. I mean, am I really gonna file a claim, take a hit on my coverage because they didn't have any and they caused?
No, it's such a good point. I mean, and again, it's so cheap that people don't even think about it because it's going to give them liability protection too. For if they do something to somebody.
Well, absolutely.
So if they get sued, they have coverage.
We have a 3-family house. We had a tenant that had they had a fire and they moved into our home to relocate from where they lost everything in a fire in their previous home. And so they moved in, and of course I mentioned they didn't have the Netflix costing renter's insurance, but of course they moved in. I said, well, I hope this time for sure you've learned your lesson. You're going to get renter's insurance because they're starting over. They're getting donations. They're talking to friends and family. They're getting whatever they can to rebuild. And so starting fresh with a new apartment, newish possessions, donations, whatever they could come up with. This is not a wealthy family, you know. And within a week, the third floor children at that property were playing with matches on their porch and burned that house. So this poor family had just been displaced, relocated, fresh start, new place, and did not have renter's insurance still.
Oh my God.
So they lost everything once again. Unbelievable. No fault of their own.
That's so sad.
Nobody in the property. It's a 3-family house. Not a single person had renter's insurance. So every single person had no place to live. Literally, one of them was in her bathrobe, and they were in the shower when the neighbor came and started knocking. This stuff can happen. I mean, it can happen very quickly.
Happens all the time.
And she's now standing out in the street talking to me in her bathrobe and wondering what I'm going to do to take care of her, because that's my job as a landlord, apparently.
Right.
And I'm sorry to say, it's absolutely not. Different states might have different ways to interpret that and kind of force that on you. But it's just not. I mean, you know, it's your job to take care of you. That's why they have renter's insurance. That's why when anybody moves in, we hand them information, we suggest it to them. We even take the tact of, because we can't require it, at least we believe we can't require it in most situations, we take the tact of assuming they have it. Of course they have it. So we say, listen, you know, you're moving in, great, can you do me a favor? Can you just send me over a copy of your renter's insurance policy so we have it on record? You know, we just make sure that they know we suggest it, they know we strongly advise, and then we just assume that they have it and that they listen to us.
If they don't have it, do you make them sign off that they don't?
I don't think we're able to. It's not a requirement. We can't require it. Again, in single families, I believe we can, and again, that's the approach we took. But
it'd be good to just document too. If they don't have it, just put it in a file somewhere. Hey, we asked them about it. They say they don't have it.
Right.
We told them it's a great idea.
Yep.
I think again, anything like that.
And we do.
Yeah, is really important risk mitigation. So.
But man, let me tell you. Yeah. So our insurance company, does usually offer something by way of assistance. However, and we've been through these such scenarios a few times. So, tenants that, lose, the house becomes unusable. It doesn't exist anymore, or it's damaged to the point where it's condemnable, whatever, not habitable. They got to stay somewhere. Often they'll stay in a hotel or something along those lines. They'll need emergency food or clothing. So our insurance, from my understanding in the past, has always kicked out a few $100 anyway.
Yeah, so in Massachusetts, it's required that if you are a landlord, you have to provide, as the insurance provides, a tenant relocation expense. It's up to $750.
So $750, and that should be, and that's pretty quick, or at least it's reimbursed, so tenants can come out of pocket or something along those lines. Here we have Red Cross. Red Cross usually gets involved right away, and they help out at least for a few days of hotel stay while insurance stuff starts trying its way through. So we've done a lot of that, but most folks, believe it or not, self-insure, and these are not the kind of folks that can afford to self-insure. They don't even live paycheck to paycheck. Many of them, frankly, don't work. So
they'll spend more on their cable per month than it would cost to just get a renter's policy for the year.
So sad, but 100% right. More on cable per month than it would cost for renter's insurance for a year.
Yeah, and it's so cheap.
Yeah,
you gotta get it.
And I've time and time again. I mean, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't list you how many incidents we've had where a tenant should have had it, needed it, and instead act surprised, kind of shrugged, and then looked,
know.
Yeah, I don't understand. I can't afford all that. You don't understand. I'm looking at the fact that they've got 4K TVs in every single room of their house. Every room's wired for cable, even that kind of a thing. But they claim they can't. They got Hulu, they got Disney Plus, they got every single streaming service. But they say they can't.
Xbox, PlayStation, the whole deal.
And it's fine. I mean, if that's the choice they want to make, that's 100% fine. But please don't. Why are you looking at someone else with your hand out? To someone else whose responsibility it clearly is not. To make sure that you're looking out for them.
Yeah,
but
that's again, I think it's a great idea as a landlord to just say, ask them if they have, if they don't, even, give them your insurance agent's number. Hey, call this guy. He can get it for you for a couple $100 a year.
Yep.
And at least you've done that.
Yep.
So when they're coming to you after the fire, they're like, hey, you didn't tell me. It's like, I did. Remember when I handed you Matt's card?
Yep.
So.
Oh man, but I mean, renter's insurance. I can't say enough. It would cover situations where tenants turn around and look to you for the expectation that you're, as a landlord, you're going to take care of them, put them in a hotel, get them food and shelter, give them another apartment, relocation expenses, first class security, the kind of things people don't save. And it'll minimize those kind of situations, but also when they overflow a toilet because their kid shoved Barbie or G.I. Joe down the toilet, it overflows and causes damages to somebody else's, flat panel TV or whatever is downstairs.
Yeah, you could have some liability coverage there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to save you. It potentially could save you a huge headache of stuff that. Yeah. So I hope more people get it. I really do. It's especially in this kind of business. It's so underappreciated.
Definitely. Cool.
Well, I think we talked about a lot of insurance stuff. I wonder if anybody's
more insurance stuff than anybody wants to talk about.
I know. That's it. That's all you're going to get for the rest of the year about insurance. We're not even going to say the freaking word insurance anymore. I think we'll wrap it up there, and we're gonna. I think, is it too early to start drinking? I feel like this is.
I've been drinking all morning.
But yeah, right.
I'm a hammer driver.
Let's go for a drive. No,
I actually sell cars.
Thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed that video. For more about insurance in real estate, click on this next video to continue on your journey.